All right, so let's get this started. Hi, everybody. I am Hoodie. Let's start off with the fact that we have some stickers. Bill put them out up here as bait. I did misspell Metasploit unintentionally. Good catch. Also, I wrote this PowerPoint slide deck in Microsoft Office like normal humans do. And then I was like, man, we're going to need to run Metasploit, and I don't want to run too many VMs, so let's do Kali for our main OS. And then, yeah, it made all the fonts, I guess, different or spaced differently. So I just left it there with my name trailing off to remind everybody that some of the graphics are going to be off just a little bit, and that Linux still not as good as Windows on PowerPoint. That's it. Everything else is better, but PowerPoint just still slacking a little. So, slide me. Also, these slides are unnecessarily aggressive. I am not the Grim Reaper, but you know, the graphics guys get a little carried away sometimes. So, today we're going to talk about us and more friends. Metasploit spelled correctly. I'm 1 for 2 on that. Thank you. Issues with persistence that have been in the framework, how we went about fixing it, the new, fun, awesome stuff that's totally great. And then we're going to try a demo, but there's an asterisk next to that you can't see because I just added it in my mind like a few seconds ago. Also, I totally saw the Hoodie thing in the prep room. And I was like, should I edit this slide and fix it and hope not to destroy every other slide? Nope, we're just going to keep it. Slide me. So this is me, not the picture, the guy. I'm a senior penetration tester at nDepth Security. I got the backpack to prove it. I won that backpack at a raffle over you. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I helped start ExploitDB. You guys may have heard of that. I am a Metasploit framework contributor. That means that I can commit directly to the framework itself without supervisor approval. I am that supervisor. There's about a dozen of us that don't work for Rapid7. I've written about 200 and I think it's like 10 modules over the last 10 years. Which is weird because like you do your first and you're like, honey, let's go out to dinner and celebrate. This is amazing. I did a thing. And then it's gotten to the point that I read about modules and I'm like, oh, that sounds sick. Oh, I wrote that 6 years ago. I totally forgot at this point in my life. I asked ChatGPT to tell me more about Hoodie, and it told me that I was at Hoodie Gray. That is not me. So disregard all Hoodie Gray things. Joel, tell me about yourself. All right, we're at our quota. So my co-presenter, Joel, he texted about 1:30, and he said, hey, my wife and daughter are sick, and I need to take them to the HR. Can Bill fill in? And Bill loves people and crowds and speaking. So he said, absolutely, or something like that with WTF in all caps. So you're now Joel for the rest of the talk. Cool. So that's the asterisk next to demos because Bill has been through this slide deck one time, and based on timing, it will probably either be one live demo or we can watch 3 videos of the live demos that I have for backup. And I think you guys would probably rather see volume other than Bill fumbling on the keyboard. Yeah. Some shout outs. Diego, he's out in Czechia, I believe, him and Martin, but they have been helping me out with redoing all the persistence. It is a very time-consuming job, making things not suck. So shout-outs to them for helping everything. And then Spencer, because he gave the stickers. I was like, hey, Spencer, you lead Metasploit. I'm going to talk about Metasploit. Can I have some stickers? And he was like, yeah, sure. So thanks to him for those. And, he slided me early. God, hard help is... Or good help is hard to find, I tell you what. Okay, now do it. Oh, spelled Metasploit right. 2 for 3. Oh, I forgot the other thing. This talk almost went astray. So, I'll tell you what's inspirational. Did you back away from the mic? No, I brought my good luck hat. Our daughters play for the same travel softball team, and they are absolutely slaying this year, and this is my good luck hat for when they are slaying, so we're going to go with the good luck hat today. So, what is Metasploit? I'm going to assume that all of you know what it is already, because it's like everywhere. But in case you haven't heard, it's the world's most popular penetration testing framework. It is free and open source. There is a commercial version. It like gives you a GUI and like commercial support and some other things that I don't use because I don't have it because it costs money and I don't have money. So, but it's free and open source. Back in 2009, Rapid7 bought it, and if you were around back then, you were like, oh my God, no, a company's buying the thing I love and use all the time. But like, surprisingly, they didn't butcher it. So now they actually have dedicated staff there to help make the framework better and spend more time, because if you're just doing it nights and weekends, it's hard to really contribute a lot in volume and quality. It is pre-installed in most hacker OSs like Kali, I assume Parrot, but I've never used it. It works on Windows, but I don't know why you would ever. It's mostly written in Ruby. Asterisks, exploits come in all shapes and sizes, so sometimes there's HTML, Python, Java, assembly for payloads, all those kinds of things. So like whatever you speak and write in, it probably has it in there. Go, it does Go too. And pretty much if you've taken a hacker class or a cert, you've used it before. Now slide, perfect. Dude, I copy and pasted that, so that doesn't count for 3 for 4. So the persistence parts. A user by the name B. Coles, no idea what his real name is, no idea where he lives. He kind of outlined all the issues in an issue in GitHub. But basically, he pointed out that everything was awful. The modules were not in a consistent directory. They had inconsistent callbacks. Like you'd install persistence on a box. Maybe it starts a handler to capture that callback. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it gives you instructions to do it. Who knows? Sometimes it would wait an hour. Sometimes it would wait 5 minutes. Sometimes it would wait all day. Awful. And one of the big things was there's no cleanup. And like, it's fun pwning things and stuff, but like, someone has to do the cleanup. And it'd be great if that was just automated. You run a script and then you're done. Instead of like making it up, looking back through your logs, all that nasty stuff. We're going to have lots of memes, by the way. So I picked some random, 6 Windows modules just as examples. Obviously, there was tons, and this is all pre-redoing of everything. But we look here, and the names just suck. First off, man, is that in white? Because it's a purple, and it was purple in the room up there, so that's awesome. In Metasploit speak, exploits execute payloads. So anything that's in the exploit folder, you should get a callback if you don't screw it up. So with persistence, I would think you would always get shells back. Maybe I'm strange, but some are in exploits folder, some are in post. Post meaning I'm on the box already, and I want to do something post getting on it. So already not looking great. Then we move on to the offset red box, where it should be local and manage. Local, kind of like post, means we're already on the box, but we have local access to it. Manage is more like we want to manage our shells on the box. So maybe we upgrade it or something like that. But again, not all consistent. Lastly, some say persistence, some say a technique then persistence, some say a persistence then technique. Some say persist, some don't say anything, like sticky keys. So we're just all over the place. And I know that's like the finicky stuff, but like user experience matters. And if I search for persistence, it's gonna miss out on like sticky keys, and that sucks. So let's break these modules down. Again, that spelling does not count. So the first one, local persistence. installs persistence. How does it do that? Who knows? Are there any little ears in here, by the way? I'm doing really good at not cussing so far, and I'd like to keep it that way, but just in case, perfect. All right, so who the fuck knows what it does? Oh man, the smallest font that ever existed. It installs into the registry in current version run. Remember, like, there's the first two persistence techniques ever, the startup folder and current version run. Yeah, it does that one. So, okay, could use a better name, but it does a thing. Then we look at registry persistence. Guess what that does? The same thing, but it puts the payload in the registry, which is a good little hiding technique. So there's no, file on disk per se. I know registries and disk, yada yada, but yeah, it does the same thing essentially. Then we look at persistent service. You guessed right, creates a service. So then we go on to PS persist, and I know what you're thinking. PS, PowerShell, Windows, like, makes sense, right? No, not at all. This one creates an exe or a Windows service, and it doesn't use, you would think like a PowerShell type payload or something like that. No. It just doesn't use service.exe. It uses the PowerShell services commandlet. That's the difference. So that's cool. That's not duplicative, and you would totally think that that installs a Windows service. So, moving on, persist.exe. I know what you're thinking. Well, the technique is so obvious. It makes an exe. And does what? Oh, it installs to current version run, also makes a Windows service, also can schedule a task. So it has 3 techniques built into one that make no sense, and you'd never find it because it has that not in the description. So that's great. And lastly, sticky keys. I know what you're thinking. Replace stickykeys.exe, right? That's like since the dawn of time. Close. It uses the image file execution options to sideload itself, which is great and all, but like nowhere does it say persistence. So like literally when we were looking for all the persistence modules, someone had to mention this one existed because we didn't find it. So we have one module that goes into the registry and a second module that does that and a third module that also does that. And then we have one module that makes a service, but also another one that makes a service, but then a third one that also makes a service. It makes sense, right? There's totally no duplicated code all over the place for this. It's perfect. Are you recording me? Damn. Next slide. Here's the other part of this. They're all old. So I went back and looked at when the modules first really started to exist. And again, this is a subset, but for the most part, it's like the 2015, 2016 timeline where someone was like, you get a bug and you're like, oh man, I gotta do this thing. Someone went through and just like hammered all these out and then like walked away into the sunset because for 10 years, other than like minor things, they were pretty much untouched. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like Windows has changed in 10 years. Like 2015 is what, Windows 7? Maybe before that, 8.1, Vista. So yeah, they old. We got to do something about that. Someone's got to go through and really look at them to make sure they still work in current versions. Techniques are still good, yada, yada. So this graph does not show what you think it does, but I included it anyways for fun. I went and searched all pull requests for the word persistence. So sometimes it's persistence modules, sometimes it's someone saying, hey, the Docker install doesn't have a persistent database. But I don't know about you guys, but sitting down and looking through hundreds of pull requests for the word persistence and then matching up to actually be persistent sounds like awful, or work for AI. It's one of the two. But if we look at pull requests that mention persistence over the years, you can see there's kind of like a steady flow between 2013 and 2020, and then just that huge jump. And that's because we started revamping it. End of 2024, really, it got started in 2025. So about a year ago, I went ham and started knocking all this out. But I'll also note that 2016, I had my first Linux persistence module, so we've been around this block for, again, like 10 years. So how can we fix all this nightmare of code? First, we got to create the directory for persistence. We got to figure out if it's modules persistence or modules exploits OS persistence or where the hell this is all going to go. Next thing is we got to set everything to be passive. Like, we can't lock up a console because this thing is supposed to be passive. You do a persistence, like a scheduled task, you schedule it for the next day or something. I can't have my keyboard locked for a day waiting for this callback. So we need it to run in the background and for a long time. We need to start a payload handler. I don't want y'all to have to do that because that's silly. It takes 3 lines of code to do it. We need to write cleanup scripts so that way, again, y'all don't have to figure out where we wrote files to, go through this manual log that's not consistent. It should just give you a file, you run that file, and you're off the box. Boom, done. And then we need to update all the modules by calling our modern libraries and functions, because again, things change over 10 years. Add in references, make sure they still work on modern OSs, and create documentation. And everyone's like, yes, documentation, I love it. But here's what happens. I'm sure it happens to all of you. You run this sweet Metasploit module, and it doesn't work, and you're like, well, that sucks. Why didn't it work? Documentation shows you why it doesn't work. In it, we include like an example run, so you can see like this person ran against this OS with this payload, and it worked fine. So maybe I should go and try that. So yeah, I'm a big stickler on documentation. I'm that guy, sorry. You're doing great, and you're still at your 3-word limit. I know, dude, for never seeing the slides until an hour and a half ago, killing it. So diving more down into that. So we got to find a folder. So Spencer, the head of Metasploit, said, we're going to go exploit, the OS, and then persistence. Sure, you know, we just need a spot, so that works. Diego, credit to him, made the standardized library that does a lot of the stuff for everybody. Does the persistence, does the payload, does the passive mode, does the payload handler, and it builds in how to automatically store the cleanup files, alert the user, all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of work. I didn't do it, not taking credit, unless you want me to. Slide it. I'm gonna take a water break. It's not toxic. All right, so I went to work, and by that I mean I got COVID and had to stay home for 5 days, and man, when the house is quiet and you're stuck in a room with nothing to do, oh, can you tear through some Metasploit code. So I wrote about 29 PRs, pull requests for those not familiar with that parlance, updating modules, splitting them apart, yada, yada. In the last 10 years, MITRE's attack references came out. Not only are those amazing for like reports and stuff like that and helping defenders actually identify the attacks you used with good references, but it's also a great list of like to do. Like, man, we hit this and this attack framework reference, but like look at all these other ones that we've never done before. We should totally add those. Went through and tested all the modules in modern OSs, like Windows 10. Is that even modern still? Proved they work, and did the documentation, which was fun, but with COVID. So then that's all the kind of like boring behind the scenes maintenance work that someone's got to do, but like it's not fun and sexy and all that kind of stuff. So then we need to add some new things. As I said, thank you, Attack Framework, because it gives me all kinds of new ideas for OS level things. We also wrote app plugins, which you're going to ask me in the hallway, and I'm going to be all shy and skittish, so I'm just going to answer it now. I think the future is more app plugins. So every person has their favorite apps. VS Code, Burp, whatever, your job role has those apps. God forbid any app not have a plugin framework nowadays. And they are just delicious for writing plugins for, because they never have security. And then we need a persistence suggester, because God forbid you actually do get on a Windows box and you're like, oh, what persistence technique should I use? Man, wouldn't it be great if it told you which ones worked? You didn't have to do all that by hand? Yeah. Love that guy cleaning the ocean. This was a new technique. I wrote it. It's not that genius, but it wasn't there, and it's kind of awesome. I loved it. And basically, Windows has WSL. For those who don't know, that's Windows subsystem for Linux. It lets you run Linux on Windows, which is great unless you're using KVM on a capable processor and you set it to nested virtualization, and then Windows will not boot anymore. So we're not going to show that one, because God forbid, but I went with the easy thing of creating a registry entry, current version run. But that registry entry runs your WSL instance with a Linux payload built into it. So the fun of, we have a Windows module that uses a Linux payload, but also, is your Windows AV looking for Linux payloads? I don't know. Some of you probably work for AV companies, and you're like, yeah, totally. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I tried. But it's, that kind of reverse logic there. And then really, that's going to hit every startup. And then from that point, you can install a Linux persistence if you want. But people need to run WSL for that payload to work. So we just force it to by running it through the registry. Then I wrote the reverse, which is if you're in WSL, we need to get back to Windows. So have a Linux module that runs a Windows payload. And I went for just, God forbid, the simplest thing, write an exe to the startup folder. But we do it through the WSL drive mapping. So yeah, you're probably going to find that. You'll be like, I got you, delete. And then you reboot, and it's back again. And every time you run WSL, it's back again. And so finding that where it's coming from is part of that fun in the game. And obviously, this is really a proof of concept. I would love for other people to be like, well, shit, you should do, still no junior people? Cool. You should do this other thing from WSL. Or, hey, to go into WSL, try this other technique. Like, it's open source. You guys could do it too. Or give me the idea, and I'll never get to it. So yeah, nice little cycle there. Joel also works for my company, the company I work for, nDepth, and Joel over there also works for nDepth. And guess what? Another pen tester with us, Lindsay Wyszynski. You say it.
Wyszynski.
Oh, I got number 4. She wrote a cool module, and obviously I couldn't mention all of them, so I just tried to hit some of the highlights. But PowerShell profiles. If you don't know, there are 4 files that whenever you start PowerShell, it runs them. And you think like, your bash profile kind of file. One is for the user, one's for like the user on, if you only log into this box, one's like user, but you log into other boxes. It's all kinds of stupid Microsoft stuff. But basically, if I can get on your box, I can write a PowerShell profile directly into your a PowerShell payload into your PowerShell profile. And anytime you launch PowerShell, it will give you a callback. In the background, blindly, it's magic. Telemetry, I wanted to call this one out because it's stupid easy. In the registry, there's telemetry controllers, and you can just tell it, here's my exe that will do your telemetry. And then anytime telemetry runs, it will also give us a shellback. I mentioned that because corporate environments, I assume you all disable telemetry, but like if you don't, holy God, disabled telemetry. It has no purpose. Speaking of things that are probably enabled in your corporate environment, assistive technologies. So that's like magnifying glasses, not high res, what's the color thing? High contrast. Those kinds of assistive technologies. What's really simple to tell Windows, we have a brand new assistive technology. Here's the exe for it. Run that every time someone boots up this box, and we just tell the registry to always run active technology or assistive technologies. I think that one's going to be a lot harder to disable in corporate, but I figured I'd mention it because something to look out for. And then I didn't write it, but there's a Python module that installs into your site packages so that anytime you start Python or any program starts Python, it goes ahead and executes our payload. I don't want to say good luck and like you have no defense against that, but like, oof, that sucks. How am I on time guy? You'd think for a sweet hotel there'd be like a clock in the back, but 20 minutes, you lucky ducks. So, new OS techniques. I wrote the Bits one. Bits is Windows Background Intelligent Transfer Service. You pretty much can't turn that off. Someone out there is like, yes, you can. But it does the transferring of Windows updates in the background when your browser is like, hey, we got a new version. It downloaded it through Microsoft Bits. Bits is a service that, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. It downloads, it intelligently transfers files in the background. Does it async? If you reboot or your connection goes out or your Wi-Fi drops, whatever, it will handle those errors and retry later. It has this nice feature called a post trigger, aka after we have finished downloading the file, we can launch a thing, like the payload we just downloaded. So we go ahead and we add a Bits job, tell it, hey, I want you to go download this file for me. The funny thing was, there's all these examples on the internet of people trying to abuse Microsoft Bits to show persistence techniques. But here's the thing, when you add a Bits job, it immediately downloads that file and executes it. That's not a great persistence when you download something in like 3 seconds and execute it. I want it to happen tomorrow or 2 days from now, not instantly. I could just transfer my own exe through my payload. So the Bits is not documented great if you're trying to do things that you're not supposed to do with it. So what I ended up doing is, did I mention it there? Yeah, it immediately tries to get your file, sends a head request. Your head response better be goddamn perfect or it will flip out at you. Then it tries to download the file and trying to get it to not download the file, but retry and retry later. Oh God, I spent 3 days in Wireshark trying to figure that one out. But if you send back a perfectly formatted HTTP response with no body, it will try again later. So that was the eventual success. Some other techniques that we have lined up that maybe I'll eventually get to. The port processor, I left up the MITRE ATT&CK things. Naturally, we don't have these in Metasploit yet. They've been around for a while. Someone will eventually get to them. Hopefully not me. My favorite here is Time Provider because you give it a DLL and it acts like it provides you time. So when your clock syncs, it will automatically execute that payload, which is awesome because everyone has to sync their clocks. So look out for that one. Oh, love that guy. App plugins, I mentioned this before. So I think this is the new hotness. This is where I've been spending most of my time lately. God forbid, again, that there's an app you use that doesn't have some kind of plugin, extension type thing. So I love Burp. Burp is amazing. So it took about a year for us to get it to work right because Java is the devil, and I hate it. So, and Burp is written in Java. But we write in a payload to Burp. It does it for the entire system. So as long as you have executed Burp one time on your system, we drop the payload in there, and it just executes in the background whenever you start Burp. and it's awesome. Obsidian, any Obsidian users? I am not one, but I learned things, because now every time I see anybody, I'm like, hey, what apps you use? I'm looking for some new ones. To heck. So Obsidian has like Obsidian written plugins, like trusted ones, and then there's untrusted user ones, and I was like, well, I can write an untrusted user one that gives me a payload, but like no one's gonna execute that. No one is like looking for some sketchy plugin on the internet, right? No, apparently like Obsidian doesn't have any good plugins, and everyone goes into danger mode and uses user-driven plugins. So like, cool. So I wrote a plugin for that. It is based on what vault you're using. Like the plugins are vault-based, but we just write it to all of them, so who cares? Notepad++, obviously, it's been around forever. It's been abused forever. No big deal on that. I put up the link pad because it was just an oddity. It's not a plugin, but that specific version, was it 5.5.2? 5.5.2. You can give it a cache file with a deserialization vulnerability, so it's not a plugin, but cache, so that's kind of cool. A little different. Slide me. Oh! God, he's good. You see how quick he did that? He paused it. So PowerPoint and then Linux. It doesn't work the bestest. So does anyone listen to Security Now? You guys should. It's very dry, but it is awesome. In January, they had an episode where this was said.
Yes, plus, as easy as it would be to write a malicious plugin for Emacs, I don't think anybody's going to do that. The pickings are slim, let's put it that way.
Challenge accepted, Leo Laporte, because I was listening. And so I wrote an Emacs plugin that executes a shell. Apparently, Emacs plugins are written in Lisp. Good news, AI has come a long way. So I just tell Claude, hey, can you give me a Who Am I plugin that just runs Who Am I in a thread, unblocked in the background? And it's like, yeah, sure, that totally sounds legit. You'd never want the output. So thank you very much. Also, if you try to contact Leo and Steve, I don't know how to do it. I have sent many emails and Discord messages, and they ignore all of them, but maybe this will work. So yeah, Emacs. It finds where your plugin folder is, or it adds a new one, and then it puts our payload in that list plugin, and woohoo! I wrote one for Vim because, Kurt, what's the best text editor? Fucking Nano. Hell yeah, it is. Because sometimes you need to do something like, I don't know, close your document, and I don't have 18 fingers to press on the keyboard to use VI. So Vim, again, I should mention, these are all Linux, obviously. But I wrote a plugin for Vim that just executes payload because I don't think Nano has plugins. So again, it is the best one. You are right. Work in progress. I started these like, God, a year ago now, and just haven't gotten back around to it. But Kate and Joplin, does anyone use Joplin? I don't know. I guess there's two in every room. That is like something gross, like the plugins are in TypeScript and you have to compile them, and it was like, but AI has come around in a year, so now I'm just gonna have that do it for me. But yeah, so Kate and Joplin are multi-OS, so Windows people, it's, you know, when I get time, it's coming. Protect yourself. This, again, is a Linux one, but I'm mentioning it here because it should be painfully obvious how long it would take to port this to Windows. Probably 3 hours, but I check if Docker is there. If it is, I tell Docker to download Alpine. I say, hey, when you build that image, here's a file, my payload, my payload that you should also put into there. And then here's a quick little bash script to run my payload. And then if it, crashes for whatever reason, chill out for 5 seconds and try it again. And then do that forever. And then set that image to start every time your OS restarts. And boom. So watch your Docker images that are there and running all the time. Because if it looks like Alpine and you don't know what it is, it's probably totally not me. That would be illegal. It's Joel. As we talked about before, time guy, where are we at? When I did this at home, it was 36 minutes total, so slaying right now. So if you guys have used it in Metasploit, there's a local persistence suggester, which means you got onto a box, congratulations. Now you want to figure out how to prevesc. And so it will load every single local module, run the check method to see if it thinks it could work on there. That sounds real smart, and I like that. I like not doing work, like loading dozens of modules and running the check command and then trying to interpret the output. So I wrote persistence suggester, where it's the same damn thing. It loads up every persistence that there is. It looks at what OS your shell is on, and it says, okay, well, you're on Windows, so we can throw away all the Linux ones. This screenshot is the opposite. I did it in Linux. And then just runs check, and then it tells you, is it vulnerable? Can this run? Yes or no? Simplicity. Oh, you said 36 minutes, which means we have 15 minutes for demos, don't we? All right, Joel. So, yeah, we're not going to trust Joel on the keyboard today. But which one's this? What we got?
Obsidian.
God, 5. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, I can't wait to show this video to your daughter. She's going to be proud of you, too. So, Obsidian. You guys use Obsidian. I don't. But we're going to start up Metasploit in the bottom. This doesn't look half bad up here. I did 800 by 600. Scared to go smaller. First thing we're going to do is just execute a payload on there. Easy peasy. We just need our initial access. So nothing special, nothing to see here. You'll see at the bottom, sending payload. We are there. Awesome. Then, like all good demos, we are going to show who we are and the sys info. And while that box clearly says Windows 11 on it, it is Windows 10, because I could not get Windows 11 to install on ESXi. We go ahead and copy all of our commands because we can't trust ourselves to type. We say use exploit multi-persistence Obsidian plugin because it's in multi instead of just Windows because it works on Linux too. It goes ahead and finds your config file. From there, it identifies all of your vaults. Then it uploads our plugin to your vault. It will also check to see if you have other plugins and what they are and if they're enabled. And then it will enable itself. It'll also give you a warning if dangerous mode is turned off. That was like a double negative there. Hey, you open it, and guess what? At the bottom, we got our shell to open. Woo woo! And you saw all the pop-ups that said like, warning, warning, warning. You just got a shell exit. No, you didn't. Oh, damn. In this case, it just had a stupid name, ENYAJ, whatever. That's totally configurable. You can give it a description. So you could call it like super awesome table creator made by awesome guy, and it would put that there instead. But, I went the lazy route. So there's Obsidian. Let's do Burp. I love Burp. Burp's one of my favorite tools because I'm a web hack guy. I hate Windows, to be honest. This is all very painful for me to write this stuff. Look, I got a presentation to work in Cali. That's a feat in itself. So yeah, we're gonna burp. So beginning, same boring thing again. We're gonna just get our original shell on there. User land is fine. That is a very hard sign to see when you're getting blinded by one thing and your font is like 10 minutes. These videos are like 2 minutes each. We can roll through all of them. Yeah, as I was saying, before Time Guy gave me my warning, original shell, userland is fine because we're exploiting a user application. Boop, 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 interpreter there. Again, let's make sure we are who we are, and then it's Windows 10 still. Because magic presentation gods, Defender's not running. Okay, got that out of the way. So we need a writable directory for where we're actually going to put that plugin. You could be all crafty and put it in somewhere that like no one's going to find. You could put it like in the burp folder if you had permissions or app roaming, whatever. But we go ahead, we load up the burp config file to make sure that you've run it before. There's our payload. I just wrote it to the desktop just for shits and giggles. Good, everyone's an adult. We load up burp. And again, you're getting all those warnings that malicious plugins running in the background, right? Right? No? Come on, think about it. You got this. Oh, no. Look at that, interpreter shell number 2 open. So if you go to the extensions tab, Bill, good job, good click there. And then you can see it's a Java type payload. Again, you can give it whatever name you want. That's all built into the module. I just, it's a presentation. You guys don't need to see me type super secret, awesome burp plugin. Let's do some more. We got time. Homie in the back said like 10 minutes. Oh, I don't have that one recorded. This is supposed to be a Windows presentation. Oh, so we can do bits, but we're going to save bits for last because bits is like, I think it's like a 3-minute video. Let's do PS profiles because it's more exciting than telemetry, but God love telemetry. Oh, man. So, the boring first minute. Yeah, bits is fun because I think I set it to 3 minutes, but you also can't control bits. So I tell bits to retry every minute to get the file, but then after that minute, it's not like a hard minute. It's like, hey, bits, why don't you go do a thing? And it's like, I'll get around to doing that whenever I feel like it. But PowerShell. So this one is great because you can use it in user land like we're going to do here. You can also use it in admin land and infect literally everyone's PowerShell on the entire box. Don't do that on a box that has a lot of users. You will be swimming in shells. There are worse problems in life, though. One of the settings that is in there is, should we bypass execution policy? Pfft, say it with me. Of fucking course. We should also create any of those files that don't exist. So first 2 errors you see there, it failed to find the certain ones that are for the system level. But it did find the user one and see users hoodie documents Windows PowerShell /profile.ps1. We start PowerShell, then we question why we haven't gotten our shell back, and there it is. Yay! Again, you see all those pop-ups? No? So that was written by what's her face? Wazinski. Lindsay. Okay, what do we got? We got time for telemetry. Let's do, so telemetry and assistive technology are more or less the same, but let's pick one. Dealer's choice. Ugh. Nailed it, Joel. I had to clean it out. One of the things that I am kind of glossing over is towards the bottom, when we do execute, you know what? Sorry, camera guy, I'm going to walk over there and make your life miserable, but you're almost done for the day, so... Oh. That was the sound of an old man. We just grunt anytime we do anything. This time we are going to an admin shell for telemetry. 5Zs, got it. We're going to be solid, I feel yous. So we're going to run as an admin prompt because that's what you need for telemetry or assistive technologies. Since we're written into the registry. Again, Windows 10, Defender, actually, I should say Defender is running. It just doesn't have any definitions to use. We are going to head and really, there's not really many options for this. You could give it a name. I don't bother, but here we go, right here. Meterpreter compatible cleanup RC. So as soon as you get a Meterpreter session, you can say run that path name, and then it will automatically execute all the registry deletes, file deletes, anything that's needed to get you off the box. Telemetry runs whenever the hell it feels like it, or we can tell the scheduled task that we want you to run right now. So I go ahead into my own shell and trigger it myself, and then again start sitting here wondering why the hell I don't have a shell back yet, questioning if I did something wrong. Should I stop the video and reshoot it for the 5th time? Probably not. Bill, how long is this? Joel, how long is this video? A few more seconds. I guess it was busy reporting to Microsoft everything I've ever done in my entire life. Here's where I start questioning my life choices. I hope this was the good version. But, there we go. Oh, thank God. Really, for presentations, you want it to execute back immediately. But, if I'm on a gig, I want this to happen, way further in the timeline. So go ahead and hit bits, because that fickle beast is going to take a minute. And that will be right on time. You don't even have to hold the sign, because when bits is done, boring, boring, boring. I didn't know what order we might do this in. I didn't plan on doing the videos, but, Joel. You didn't either. I agree, man. Which is also fun when you record all these videos and you have these sweet notepads with all your commands, and then you forget to copy all those commands and shut down for the day. AI is great at looking at your videos and OCRing that text, since everything is AI these days. So we got our original Meterpreter, and we are in admin land. So this command is, again, it's got defaults and stuff, but for presentation-wise, we set a delay of 2.5 minutes, 200 seconds. We tell it to retry every 60 seconds, and go. And then it immediately, sorry, camera guy. So it tells you all the commands it runs. Oh, me. I'm too short. Thank you, me. It immediately sends these head requests. We respond. It immediately sends the get request, and we're like, bruh, chill out. Send an empty body back, and we keep an internal time to say we will keep responding back with empty bodies until we've hit our own internal timer. Then we're going to do it. Yep. Good job, me, highlighting that exact thing. So now is a good time for questions while we wait the next 2 minutes. Any questions? Yeah, I know. I told you, we're perfect on time. Question. Did you just ask if I write good code? Yes, no. Shots fired. So I brought up the clock because I got frustrated. That's part of the check method. It checks, sometimes for registry, I'll actually write in just a stupid key to double check that we have it, instead of assuming that everyone can write or that just admins can write. Anytime there is a file reader write, we're gonna check that we have permission to do that first. So if you get a success back on check, it should goddamn work. No kids still, okay.
Do you know what Defender was keying
I don't use, I'm not on, this is going to sound weird because it's open source and everybody does everything, but I'm not on the payload team. So I don't, that it's going to hit on the payload XEs and DLLs and stuff like that. But, you know, that's a cat and mouse game all the time. And I know there's a bunch of new encoders that are coming out that should do some stuff. There's also a malleable transport that is about halfway done by OJ out in Australia. And that's going to have more C2 flavors to it. So the only one that is the hotness is the registry one, where it writes the payload in as a registry key. I don't know what devil's magic it uses to trigger that, and I keep forgetting to look. We had a unbearded question with 0 minutes left. It's going to happen. When it happens, we're done. Modules are stovepipe, so it's going to run the same. It's going to run the check on everyone. That being said, everything is looking for different stuff. So, writing to the startup folder, it's checking for write access there. Registry one's checking for registry stuff there. So there is probably some overlap, but it's probably less than you think. But AV-wise, how someone's actually using a box, probably a giveaway. I can admit my flaws, and Nano is not one of them. Bill, Joel, what's the time on here? Ooh. How much time left is that? Because he said 0 seconds. Oh, can we speed it up a bit? He's gonna get mad at me, and he looks nice. Don't be mad at me, time guy. That and all the smart people who understand math just came in from next door. Come on, Joel. Oh, there we go. So finally, it sent the request. It wants bytes because God forbid we send it back. It executes it. Yay, we all win. That's all for questions. And I'm going to go on a date with my wife now. So hell yeah.